Hello and welcome everyone back to the channel. And for those of you who are already subscribed, welcome back our mobile music army. And I am your host Vortex from mobilemusicpro.com, your home for mobile music production. And make sure to smash the thumbs up if you appreciate these inflections. Hello everybody, we just wanted to say hey, stay safe out there. It's a bit crazy right now, of course, as everybody's trying to stay home and self-quarantine. And a few folks are a little bit scared and uneasy. But hey, we're back to comfort you guys with another video and tell you everything is going to be alright. Now, of course, there's going to be some tough times ahead, folks, but we will get through them together. So from Mobile Music Pro to all you guys out there, please stay safe and we wish you much, much love. Alright, now it's down to business. In today's video, we're going to be going back into Cubasis 3 to show you some ways that you can mix and process your drums. Now, this video isn't going to encapsulate all of the best ways to process and treat drums, but we did want to walk you through some of this workflow so you can get a better idea of some of the processes involved. Now, if you're a new producer, we did really want to introduce you to some of these terms and concepts, like velocity, compression, saturation, gating, EQ, and so forth. Our overall goal of this video is to help you get your drums hitting harder and sounding louder, be a little bit more clear, and sit better in the overall mix. And these concepts can really be applied to almost any genre. So don't get too discouraged or anything if the examples that we provide aren't the genre that you produce in. You may still learn something new. And if you think we missed anything important or any important apps, please make sure to comment down below. And of course, make sure you're subscribed because we have a lot more Cubasis 3 videos to come. So with that intro aside, let's get into how to process your drums in Cubasis 3. Hello and welcome everybody. Before we get started today, we just wanted to explain the project that we have pulled up here in Cubasis 3. You can see we have a kick track, snare track, hat 2 track, ride 1, and an 808 track. These are the tracks that we'll be processing in today's video. And again, just an additional disclaimer that this isn't the be-all, end-all perfect way to edit and process all of your drums. This is just a few different ways that we're going to show you today. So what we're going to do is first play you this 4-bar loop, which has the drums completely unprocessed, and then we'll go ahead and process these drums and then play it back after that. And before we begin processing these drums, let's go ahead and hear the drums just by themselves, again unprocessed. Okay, so let's begin processing the first track here, which is kick 1. We're going to go to the insert effects on the left-hand side. And as you can see, by default, Cubasis 3 does insert the channel strip and studio EQ effects, but disables them. We're not going to be worrying about the channel strip today, so let's go ahead and remove that by clicking on the channel strip, and then we'll go to the back button and click on none. Instead, we'll be first adding a compressor, so let's go ahead and add a compressor by clicking tap to add effect, and then we'll click on internal effects, scroll down and click on compressor. And the preset we'll be using today is called kicked, so let's find that. We'll go to factory presets, scroll down and click on kicked. And let's quickly see what that sounds like by engaging the effect. So first we'll turn it off and then turn it on. Alright, that sounds good. The compressor is going to boost our volume a little bit, and we're going to need this to be the first effect in the chain. So to do that, we'll go over here to the insert effects and long tap on the compressor and drag that up so that it is the first effect in the chain. Next, we're going to go to our studio EQ. We're going to enable that by clicking on the E. And we're not going to use a preset for this one, actually. We're just going to roll off some of the highs, I think around 5K maybe. Let's see what that sounds like. Okay, that sounds good, rolling off the highs at around 5K. We can go ahead and solo the difference between the original kick and the kick with these effects. Let's do that now. Disable the effects and click play. And so now we've applied the initial treatment to this track. Next, we're going to apply some additional compression. Okay, the next thing we want to do to this kick is we want to add a little bit more punch to it. So let's go ahead and add the tap to add an effect. We'll click on Audio Units, and let's go ahead and choose FAC Transient. We should be able to find it in all of our FAC plugins here. FAC Transient. And the preset we're going to load up is going to be Punch on Drums. So this should give us a little bit more punch. And what I like to do is I like to dial down the dry wet just a little bit so it doesn't get too loud. Alright, let's hear what that sounds like now. So that sounds good. Let's go ahead and solo this effect with and without. Alright, so you can see it's a little bit louder and a little bit more punchier with this FAC Transient enabled. The next thing we want to do is sculpt this kick a little bit. So we're going to add another effect, and this time we're going to go to Audio Units and Beat Former. So we have Beat Former pulled up here, and this is a great app for sculpting and adding compression to your drums. We're going to use it mostly for the sculpting features right now. Let's go ahead and scroll to the preset called Tighten. And this should be able to reduce the transient a little bit on the kick and make this a little bit tighter. So let's hear what this sounds like with and without. Alright, let's hear what that sounds like in the context of all of the drums right now. Without all of our effects and then with all of our effects. Disable them. And we'll go ahead and play. And let's enable. Okay, next we're going to be processing the snare, but first, as you can see, we did have to freeze kick 1 so that we can free up some resources as we are running an original iPad Pro. So as before, what we're going to do is we're going to apply an initial treatment. We're going to go to the Insert Effects on the left-hand side, and we're going to open up the channel strip, and we're going to go to the presets, clicking on Channel Strip, Factory Presets, and we're going to go down to Electronic Snare 2. Okay, let's solo the snare and see what that sounds like so far. Okay, we've added some gain and added a little bit of drive in there in the saturator. Now we're going to add the EQ so we can make this sit correctly in the mix. So let's go ahead and click on EQ. We're going to go to Studio EQ Presets, Factory Presets, and we're going to find Electronic Snare 3 down here. Okay, let's see what that sounds like now with both the channel strip and the Studio EQ. Alright, now let's go ahead and apply one final effect here. After the treatment, we're going to apply an additional EQ, which is the EQ 560. Let's go ahead and add that now. Click Add Effect, Audio Units, scroll all the way down. Alright, here it is, the RRS EQ 560. We're going to go to Factory Presets, and we're going to find Snare 2. Alright, there we go. And let's see what that sounds like. Okay, that sounds pretty good. Let's go ahead and solo what the snare sounds like without the effects. and then we'll turn on the effects and engage them midway. Okay, now let's go ahead and see what this sounds like in the context of the mix. Okay, that sounds much better. The snare is much easier to hear within the context of the mix. It's also much punchier and a little bit louder, and pretty much anything put through the EQ 560 sounds better once it's through it. And this snare is no different here. It adds some really nice transients into it. Okay, next up we're going to treat our hi-hats, so let's select our hi-hat track, go to the Insert Effects, and we're actually not going to be using the channel strip for this one, so let's go ahead and remove that by clicking on the Internal Effects and then clicking None. And we are going to use the Studio EQ, so let's go ahead and enable that, bring that up by clicking the E. And what we're going to do for this is we're going to choose a factory preset, which is going to be the Electronic Hi-Hat 2. Alright, there we go. Let's just solo the difference between that quickly. So it makes it sit in the mix, brings up the highs a little bit. The next thing we're going to do is give it some stereo width to make these hats kind of appear more on the periphery, on the outside of the sound instead of directly right in the center. So let's click Add Effect. Let's go to FX Pack 1 and click on Stereo Width. For the factory preset, we're going to choose From the Other Side, and let's hear what that sounds like now. So you can hear that is sounding more like it's on the sides now instead of directly in the center. And finally, we can add some additional effects in here for ear candy. Let's go ahead and add a new effect. Go to Audio Unit, and we're going to choose Effectrix. And we'll full screen this here so you guys can see a little bit better. FX is a great multi-effects app with a sequencer that sequences all the effects in a row. So you can just begin drawing in the effects that you'd like. Now, Effectrix does have a bunch of built-in presets. We're talking about tons of presets, hundreds of presets probably. We have 6 different banks here that are separate with different effects within each one. The ones we're going to choose today and try out is going to be a couple in the Factory 2 presets. So let's first try out Gentle Loop Fun and see what that sounds like. So you can see there's a bunch more movement now going around in these hats, making it much more pleasant to listen to, and switching it up from just the standard generic hat sound. Let's go ahead and listen to another preset. And finally, just a quick preset that we made this morning. We'll click on User and click on Test 1 and hear what that sounds like. Pretty cool. I actually like the New York one better, so let's choose that one. Factory 2 and New York. Okay, let's hear what that sounds like in the context of the mix. Okay, perfect. This loop is definitely starting to come together. We have now mixed the kick, the snare, and the hats. And also we're going to quickly treat the second part of the hat. So let's do that now. Let's hear what those sound like real quick so you know. Alright, so let's first apply an EQ on this. Let's go to Studio EQ, go to the presets, and let's find Electronic Hi-Hat 1. There we go. Let's go and let's also add a pan and tremolo to this so we can have it moving from side to side in the ear. Let's go to pan and tremolo, factory presets, and slow attack. Now let's hear what this sounds like with the effects on. So much better now. It's actually going from left to right and then right to left. All right, and finally today we will be processing our 808. So let's go to the Insert Effects, and we're actually not going to use the channel strip. So let's go ahead and remove that by going to None. And let's activate the EQ, scroll down to Studio EQ Presets, and let's go to Bass Augmentation. As you can see, that ups the basses a little bit, ups the lows, dips the mids, and ups the highs just a little bit. Next, we want to apply some more compression and distortion. So let's go ahead and add a new effect. We're going to go to Audio Units, and we're going to find FAC Bandit. There it is. Go to the Factory Presets, and let's select the Warmer Mix. And finally, we're just going to add a little bit more transient to the end. We're going to click Audio Units and add the FAC Maxima. And here we'll choose Factory Presets and the Sub-Bass Mix. Okay, now let's listen to what this sounds like first. We'll solo this without the effects, and then we'll bring in the effects. All right, let's go ahead and hear what that sounds like in the context of the drum mix. All right, sounds pretty good. Now you can add a number of different effects to your 808. In fact, many 808s don't even really need to be processed other than to be EQ'd so they can sit well in the mix. But with this 808, we made it a little bit louder, a little bit more distorted. So now let's hear what the complete loop sounds like now with all of the tracks processed and the melodies. And now let's listen to the loop one more time without any of the processing that we applied to any of the drums. So a pretty big difference there. Make sure you go back and listen to what it sounds like with and without the processing. Hello and welcome back, everybody. We hope this video was very informative to you and able to help you in some way. We work hard to bring you these videos, so make sure to smash that subscribe button below. And of course, smash the likes if you guys are enjoying this content. And please guys, if you use different apps or have better ways of achieving these same sonic results, we'd really appreciate it if you could help out the whole community and comment below and let us know. And we just want to thank everybody again who was already subscribed for being a part of our mobile music army. As always, we've got much more to come. So until next time, everybody, please stay safe out there, stay at home, and keep talking music. We'll see you later.